as I was growing up, I used to hear the older folks say things like, time waits for no one, or you don't miss your water till your well runs dry. Well, both of those things are very true. Time waits for no one. Um, as we grow older and wiser, we come to realize that some decisions we've made in the past weren't the best decisions. Unfortunately, we can't go back and change those decisions, but we can move forward to either one, make better decisions, or change the outcome of what those decisions, the situations our decisions brought us into. Um, so yeah, welcome to the Green Fire Motivation channel. My name is Judy Owens. It's my intention that with this channel, you'll be able to take action and take control of your life. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Definitely hit the bell so you can get notified anytime videos are loaded. As well, please share some comments below the video and let me know, what you thought of the video. If there's any content or any information that you'd like to see more of, or something that you'd like me to elaborate on or add to the video, by all means, I'm looking forward to your comments and looking forward to the interaction. This is actually the 11th video that I'm recording, and so I'm hoping that anyone who's watching now has watched the previous 10 videos. If not, all of the links will be below the video. So, we're going to do a little bit of trivia today. You excited? I know I am. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw two pictures and then I'm going to put two lines underneath. So basically what these pictures represent are the words. So it's a picture of the word. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got my board. And I've got my dry erase pen. Alright guys, you excited? Okay, I'm excited. Here we go. If I can get my marker open. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to draw two lines. 1, 2. Alright, you see those? 1, 2. Alright, you guys ready for the pictures? Yeah? Okay, here they are. Okay, so this is one. Now guys, I'm not an artist, so by all means, please don't shoot me. I'm going to do the best that I can, okay? Alright. This may not look anything like what I wanted to, but we're going to try it anyway. Okay. And then we've got that. Okay. That. Alright guys, stay with me. I'm almost finished. Alright. Here we go. Can you guys see that? So we got word number 1 under this picture. And then we've got word number 2 under this picture. Alright, so I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to try to figure out what this is. So basically, this is a picture. What do you think this is a picture of? What do you guys think this is a picture of? Huh? Huh? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? Come on, guys, you can do it. What does this look like? What does that look like? This right here looks like something you could take to the beach. Maybe put some sand in. Hint, hint. Maybe put some sand in it. And then this right here kind of looks like something that you ride on. It's got them little bullet points, almost like a list. Alright, I'm going to count down. 10, 9, 8. Have you figured it out yet? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I hope you guys are trying to figure it out. 2, 1, 0. Okay, guys, if you haven't figured it out yet, this right here, I'm going to write it in. Da 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 da, drum roll. Boop. Okay, drum roll. This is the first word. That's the first word. Doesn't it look like a bucket? It looks like a bucket. It looks like a bucket. All right, and then the second one is it's a list, guys. I don't know. I think I gave it away. I might have given it away. This is code for bucket list. Bucket list. See the bucket? See the list? Okay, guys. All right, so do you guys know what a bucket list is? Do you know what a bucket list is? Do you know? How about you? How about you? How about you? Okay, so a bucket list is basically a forward-thinking exercise that helps you to imagine the things that you want to do in your life before you ... kick the bucket, before you pass away. I like kick the bucket a little bit better because, you know, if I'm jumping around and smiling and stuff, talking about someone passing away, it brings kind of a morbid tone. But anyways, so here's the deal, right? This is Green Fire Motivation. Green means go. So we're on week number 11. You've written your paper match. You've done your whys. You've done your reasons. You've done, you know, the different ways that you plan to change your life. And by now you're on, this is week number 3 or 4 of our motivational, Green Fire Motivational Quotes. So the quote this week is, time waits for no one. Okay? The quote, the Green Fire Motivational Quote this week is, time waits for no one. Okay? So, I actually watched this movie, The Bucket List. Now, personally, I think my picture looks better. But anyways, The Bucket List. Okay? So this is Morgan Freeman, and this is Jack Nicklaus. Is it Jack Nicklaus? Okay, so these two actors here are like, they actually paved the way for so many different actors because they in themselves are great actors and overall good people from what I understand. So this is The Bucket List. Basically what the movie is talking about is these two gentlemen who, one guy, he actually owns the hospital that they're in, and that will be Jack Nicklaus, and then Morgan Freeman is the guy that's actually staying in the same bed, in the same room. What happened was they both got sick with cancer. And so they both ended up in the same room, you know, at the hospital. And so Morgan Freeman, when he was in school, he had wrote a bucket list. And the teacher had told him it was a forward-thinking exercise, you know, to give you some ideas on the things that you want to accomplish in your life before you kick the bucket. And so Morgan Freeman finds out that he's only got a year to live. Jack Nicklaus finds out he's only got a year to live. And I apologize for telling the story, but I can't, you know, indulge you in the conversation, so to speak, without actually telling the story. So if you haven't seen it already, by all means, go see it. I actually got this, as you can see, I got this from the library. So, you know, it's an older movie, but it's a great movie. But anyways, so they end up, Morgan Freeman ends up pulling out this list after he only finds out that he only has a year to live, and he throws the list away, and Jack Nicklaus finds the list on the floor. He opens it up, and he starts reading it. And then they decide, you know, long story short, they decide that they're going to go and do as many things on this bucket list as possible. See, the thing is, what Morgan Freeman had explained to Jack Nicklaus in the movie is that time got by so fast that he didn't have an opportunity to do a lot of the things that he wanted to do. So, you know, his wife ended up getting pregnant unexpectedly, and then the next child came, and the next child came, and then the grandchildren came, and he was phenomenally smart. He knew all the answers to the Jeopardy questions, like all of it. Throughout the movie, he's watching Jeopardy, and he's answering everything before he's answered everything before the contestants on the show. And by all means, much love to Mr. Alan Trebek. He did such a phenomenal job with Jeopardy, and as we know, he passed away. So, my heart, my prayers definitely go out to his family, in their loss. So, basically, what it is, Morgan Freeman realized that he had wasted a whole lot of time in his life, or at least maybe not wasted may not be the best word for it, but he spent a lot of time focusing on, other things. And in that same account, he didn't really focus on any of the things that he wanted to do. So now him and Jack Nicklaus decide that they're going to do all these things before they die. They jumped out of an airplane. They went to visit all these different countries. They ate specific foods. They wore specific clothes. They stayed in expensive places. They did all of this stuff. And so in 3 months, they experienced or found the joy in their life, so to speak. Morgan Freeman actually dies at the end of the movie, and so does Jack Nicklaus, but Morgan Freeman surprisingly actually dies first. Um, and Jack Nicklaus talks about how Morgan Freeman saved his life because he found the joy in his life that he didn't have before. And so, once again, our topic tonight is time waits for no one. Now, this channel is called Green Fire Motivation. Why? Because the whole point is to get you to take action and take control of your life. Now, what we understand is that time waits for no one. There's no way to turn back the hands of time. You cannot rewind time. You do not get a do-over. All you can do is move forward on the time that you have. Now, if you think about it, we all have the expected life span of man. It's somewhere between is it 75 and what about 83? Now those numbers are probably old because nowadays, there's so many people living to like 100, 95, 97. My grandfather lived till he was 97. And so there's a lot of people living longer than that, but a lot of people experience, somewhere, in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s is unfortunately where a lot of them go. So it's like, okay, do you want to wait until you get to that age to decide to accomplish the things that are on your bucket list? Now, some people may not even have a bucket list. Like, basically, to put in the younger generation term, so to speak, is basically a list of things that you want to do in your lifetime. So my question is, do you want to wait until it's the end of your life to experience these things? Or would it be better to be able to experience these things over time, create those memories, and be able to talk about them with other people while you're still alive? Just think about that for a second. A lot of times we don't think about the things that are hard. My parents mentioned to me, at some point in time, we're going to pass on. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with your life? And it's just like, you know what? It's hard to even think like that. Like, it's hard to think like, it's hard to think that at some point my parents aren't going to be here. And even though, I don't want to think about it, it's just the truth. And it's a truth, that some people I know have experienced just this year, losing parents. And, it's not a good feeling. But here's the thing. There were two questions that they asked in the movie. They asked, have you found the joy in your life? And then they asked, have you put joy in someone else's life? And so that's the thing right there. If you die tomorrow, have you found joy in your life? Have you put joy in someone else's life? Those don't seem like, really important questions until, we get a notice that We've got a bad illness or something that's not curable, or, something that's going to devastate our lives. We don't really think about stuff like that. And I get it. We don't want to. But here's the thing. We hear so many people say, oh, things like you only live once. Now, me personally, I believe you live more than once. This life and the eternal life. But anyways, so there's so many people say you only live once. There's, a lot of people, in the older generation who feel like, they regret the things that they didn't do in their life. Not the things that they did, but the things that they didn't do. So here's the deal, right? Live for today. Tomorrow's not promised. Live for today because tomorrow is not promised. Live for today because tomorrow is not promised. What we have to understand is that when I say live for today, tomorrow's not promised, that doesn't mean, you're going to die tomorrow, go out and spend all your money. No, 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 no. Matter of fact, it doesn't have anything to do with money. What I will say is this: it has to do with appreciating the time that you have right now. It comes down to appreciating the time that you have right now. I can think of countless times where I was rushing to do this and that. And anybody that knows me, they know that I don't stay still most of the time. Like, I'm out my house at the crack of dawn, and by the time I get home, it's like almost the next day. They know I don't stay still. But what I will say is this: as much as I move around, I've found some times where I'm driving in the car and I might be heading to another destination, but I take time to smell the roses. And when I say smell the roses, I mean if I'm driving on an overpass and I look to my left and I see the prettiest sunset with the clouds just perfect, the colors yellow, blue, pink, purple, and the sun just going down, in that second, I don't think about anything else. Now, of course, I'm driving, so I'm paying attention, but it's that split second that I'm able to capture that peaceful moment. That peaceful moment. I appreciate those moments. You know why? Because with everything that's going on, you got COVID, you got the presidential elections, you got, a whole bunch of unrest as far as injustices, you got, job issues where people are getting laid off, terminated. All this stuff is going on, but in that moment, it's like time stands still. And I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not thinking about anyone. I'm not thinking about bills. I'm not thinking about trying to get to work. I'm not thinking about where I'm going, where I'm coming from. At that moment, I'm just appreciating the sunset. And anybody that knows me knows I'm big on sunsets. I love a beautiful sunset. Why? Because it's that aesthetic beauty that calms. It's like it's almost like a masseuse is massaging my eyes with the picture in front of me. Can you imagine that? Something so beautiful. And then again, there's days where I go by it and don't even notice. Don't even notice. Too busy. Got too much to do. It's those little moments that we should appreciate. It's that moment where, your baby girl or baby boy walks up to you and just gives you a hug for no reason at all. It's those moments where your family member just decides to help you cook. It's those moments where, you may have a significant other. You guys kind of cuddle on the couch. It's those moments where you see your parents laugh and you just remember It's like a timestamp in your mind. Certain memories. It's like a bookmark of a memory. Anytime you open the memory, you remember that part. You remember the colors. You remember how you felt, the emotions. You remember the smells. You remember what room you were in. You remember, what curtains were on the wall. You remember the pictures that were around you. Time waits for no one. And it's important that as you're lighting this motivational flame, that you stop and smell the roses sometimes. Take those moments, like Will Smith said, in the moments that take your breath away. Time waits for no one. So even in your grind, sometimes you got to stop and pay attention. You got to make those memories. As you're grinding, moving towards those 3 things that you're changing in your life, take timestamps. Make bookmarks in your head, the milestones that you're going over. Take time to notice the progress that you've made from the time that you started to where you are now. Look at your glass half full, not half empty. Doing this will allow you to keep your motivational flame green, and it'll also remind you of the reason why you're doing this. As you're changing these things in your life that you have on your paper match, and if you haven't done your paper match, please click on the paper match link that's going to be below this video. As you're changing those things that you want to change on your paper match, it's also important for you to make these memories, these timestamps. Why? These milestones. Why? Because once you progress in your journey, someone else is going to be following in those footsteps. And you want to remember what you went through, so that when they get to those milestones, you know exactly what to say and how to encourage them and how to guide them, so that they don't make the mistakes that you may have made when you hit those milestones, that they'll be that much further ahead, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's a daughter, a niece, a nephew. Somebody is picking up those breadcrumbs, and you want to make sure that those breadcrumbs have the right seasoning in them. Time waits for no one, so don't waste it. If you have a bucket list, it's things on your list that you want to do. Look, here's the deal. Don't wait until it's 30 years later in your life. Do those things over time. Start planning them now. Just because you don't plan to go on a cruise in the next month and a half, 2 months because of Corona, doesn't mean not to plan the cruise. That means go ahead and plan it. That way, when it's time for you to go ahead and get it set up, you're already ready. If you say you want to go to Dubai, just because you can't go right now doesn't mean you will never go. But go ahead and get ready, so when the opportunity presents itself, all you have to do is click a button and you can go. And it's so many more things. So many more things. Some people say they don't. Listen. Understand this, right? And then I'm gonna let you guys go. But understand this: there's so many things that we won't do because we're scared. We fear the what ifs. But you'll never know if you don't. So it'll always be a what if. 30 years later, you'll still be saying, what if, what if, what if. I know what won't if you don't. We all know what won't if you don't. You won't ever know. So understand, time waits for no one. Take the time to snapshot those special moments as you progress in your journey on the 3 things that you want to change in your life. Start working on your bucket list now. Don't wait till 30 years from now. Now, and I probably have no right to even say this, but there's a lot of people who have children. I don't have any right now, but there's a lot of people who have children, and they put a lot of things on hold for their children. And I'm not saying I don't understand that. I'm not saying I don't understand that. What I am saying is that when those children leave the nest 18 years later, do you want to look back on those last 18 years and say, man, I haven't done anything for myself? Do you want to be that person? Do you want to regret that when you were younger you didn't do XYZ? Is that what you want? I mean, if it is, hey, it's your world. But if it's not, this is me, Green Fire Motivation, Judy Owens, telling you that time waits for no one. So you need to go and take advantage of the time that you have now. Don't hold off tomorrow for tomorrow what you can do today, because tomorrow is not promised. I hope this has helped someone. This is Green Fire Motivation. Green means go. Have a good evening.